forward on this computer. Fantastic. And we'll all make our ways to a comfortable seated position, beginning to land and gather here. Whew. And I think to start this evening, taking just 3 deep breaths in through the nose, and let them come out the mouth through donkey lips. You know, like that exasperated sound little kids make. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. And just that, you know, we're coming up to holidays and lots of planning season. We're gonna have a little bit of movement to help us just ground and land in this moment here and now. So just beginning to make some circles with the nose here. You're drawing circles, like there's a paintbrush up the end of the nose and you're drawing circles here. Nice and slow. Giving yourself permission to slow it all down now. Reverse and go the other way. Remembering you have all the tools you need to be here right now. There's nothing else you need to do. Nowhere else your mind needs to be. But if the mind wanders, it's okay. Just bring it on back. Let it know that whatever that thing is that's popping in is completely valid. And you'll tend to it later when you have the time and space. And turning that head back to center. On an inhale, squeeze those shoulders up towards the ears. And then on an exhale, sigh out the mouth. 2 more of those. With that exhale, let yourself fully settle into this space, submerging yourself in this experience, rooting down through the sits bones here, feeling that bony part of the buttocks connect to the earth, a chair, a cushion, whatever you're sitting on this evening, making sure that you feel nice and cozy. Relaxing the shoulders down the back body, while at the same time lifting through the crown of the head. Beginning to take those deep, nurturing breaths in and out of the nose, committing to this breath work for the practice. Then as you're ready here, allowing the eyes to soften on the earth just right in front of you, or to close all the way, cutting off the sensory experience of sight, which is 80% of your sensory experience. Knowing that when you close your eyes, it allows you to focus inward, beginning that journey into self. Deepening those inhales and then extending the exhale to be twice as long as the inhale. Knowing that this is your time and space to listen to the body, to commune with it, to build this mind-body relationship and connection that will serve you every movement you take in your day-to-day life. And as you're sitting here, begin to take a scan of the body, bringing your awareness first to the top of the head. And as you exhale, begin to lower the awareness down the body. First past the forehead, making sure the brow is softened. Then down past the eyes, giving the eyes permission to relax into the bottom of the sockets. Continuing down, allowing the jaw to unhinge and the tongue to soften in the mouth. With each exhale, continue moving forward and further down the body. And if you hit a spot, say in the shoulders, where it's a bit harder to release any tension that you're experiencing, give yourself permission to pause here, continuing to breathe in health and healing through the nose, and then exhaling back out your nose, that tension that's living in the muscles of the body. Then once you feel that area begin to relax further, then continue on your journey down the arms, palms of the hands, down the spine, slowly, slowly making your way, giving yourself the gift of your own loving attention. Once you have completed this body scan and you have entered into a fully relaxed physical state of being, invite that next inhale all the way down to the bottom of the belly, feeling that belly expand out with the inhale, and then continuing that breath up into the rib cage, and then all the way into the upper lungs. And from here now, exhaling all the way back down to the bottom of the belly. Inhaling, breathing in, feeling that whole torso fill with that light, fresh breath. And with the exhale, returning back down to the bottom of the belly, squeezing it all last out so that the next breath can be fresh and new. Continuing with this 3-part Dirga breath. Feeling the torso expand out in all 4 directions as you fill the lungs to their full capacity, allowing them to reach their fullest potential before exhaling it all back out into the world. On the next inhale, release this 3-part Dirga breath and return to a normal state of breathing with no agenda other than to just be here, observing the body. What is it that feels different from when you first came to the mat? Is there something internally that you're more aware of? Is there a physical part of your being that is already feeling the gifts of your practice? As you're ready, begin to invite back in the senses, first of sound, opening up your ears to the gifts in this space of sound. And then perhaps the temperature of the room and how it feels on your skin. Perhaps there's a taste in your mouth lingering from something you had before starting your practice. And even begin to see how the lights around you, though the lids are still closed, filter in through the closed eyelids. And then as you're ready, allowing the eyes to flutter back open, returning fully to the space around you. Moving any props that you may have underneath you out of the way to start. And then inhaling in, reach the arms out side to side, until the palms touch overhead, following with the gaze lifted up above. And then exhale, slide the hands down to heart center, continuing to follow with the eyes, chin to chest. Inhale to open up wide to the world around you, rising tall. And exhale, bring it all back home to heart center. Continuing this with your own breath, your own divine timing. Feeling those lungs filled to their full capacity. And then a full exhale, full release. Inhaling up and out. Exhaling to return home. One last time here. Inhale, hands can stay at heart center. Gaze comes straight ahead. Interlace those fingers, and on an exhale, push the hands forward. Inhale the hands right up to the sky. And then exhale, break the arms apart, coming into cactus arms for just a moment. Inhale, hands to heart center. Interlace those fingers. Exhale, pressing the hands out. Inhale to lift them up as far as they want to go today. And exhale to break free of that bind. Come side to side. Continuing with your own breath and your own time. Choosing the pace you set here with the breath. Inhale to bring the hands to center and pause. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring one hand to the earth here. And then inhaling, lift the other arm up and overhead here. Invitation to move and let it be a flow with the breath. Perhaps using an inhale to open up, pulling that heart up to the sky, and an exhale to round forward. Or perhaps you'd rather this evening see how far you can get down to the earth with that side stretch. Now, if you're trying this little ditty here, make sure that your sits bones stay firm to the earth. So if you do this, but you do one of these, maybe not today. Maybe today is not the day for that. So just explore. Decide what's right for you in the moment. No right or wrong here, just what is, just where you're at in loving acceptance. Inhale to come all the way up through to center. Exhale to the other side. Same opportunity, invitation here to just explore a little bit. Find what's right for you. It could even just be a hand on the hips here. And even if you're doing just a hand, I shouldn't say just a hand, if you're choosing the hand on the hip, you can still inhale to pull that shoulder back and exhale, round that shoulder forward. So just finding you in this, right? Where are you in this pose? Where do you live? How do you embody it? Inhale brings you all the way back through to center. And then exhale, twist to the side. Hand comes to the opposite knee. Opposite hand floats back behind you, presses into the earth, lifting the crown of the head. And on an exhale, turning to look out past that back shoulder. Paying attention here to listen for any numbness, tingling, pinching sensation. That is the body gently communicating with you and asking you to do things a little differently. So that might mean not looking as far back that past shoulder, or maybe bringing that hand not to be all the way behind you, but maybe like 75% of the way behind you. Lifting tall, radiant and beautiful in this body. Inhale to come back through to center. Exhale to the other side. Remembering that both sides of the body have different needs. So just because you did something on one side doesn't mean you can just necessarily replicate it and mirror it the same on the other side. So just listen, right? The invitation to just listen to the self. Breathing deep here, staying committed and connected to that inhale in and out of the nose. Inhale to come back through to center, and then this time forward onto hands and knees. If you are enjoying this class from a chair, then just stay where you are. You can prepare for seated cat-cow. So if you're coming in to the tabletop pose on the hands and knees, it can be really delightful to place a folded blanket under the knees. Just a little more cushion if you ever experience any sensitivity in the knees. Palms can either be flat to the earth, spreading those fingertips out and pressing into each, the palm and each fingertip, or making a fist with the palms, stacking them under the shoulders, and then tucking that belly button up and in, activating those core muscles here. Also, same prompt invitation if you're seated, still activating those core muscles. And then from here, inhale, drop the belly down, open up the heart, lift the crown of the head. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin in, drop the crown down. Inhale to open up. And exhale, once again, returning home. Continuing here. So, invitation, option to continue in this traditional tabletop cat-cow or seated cat-cow, or I just learned this new move the other day, really enjoyed it. On an inhale, pressing up and coming into flying cow. And then exhale, rounding, coming into a pose more like a child's pose. Inhale to lift and raise into flying cow. I love it. Exhale to come back to the earth here. So always the invitation, right? The encouragement to listen to the body. You know, you can try something new, and just because you try it doesn't mean you have to do it for the rest of the time. Could be just not right, right? Trying something doesn't necessarily mean committing to it forever and ever. All right. Coming back to that traditional tabletop option here, more sitting in your seat. And then inhaling, bringing the right leg out to the side and just having some leg circles here. So if you are in a chair, it could be helpful to stand up and just hold on to that chair while you do this standing. Lubricating the joints here. Reverse, going in the opposite direction. Really listening to the signals and cues of the body. Once you're all set with that leg, extend it straight back, curl the toes under, and rock back and forth here, stretching out that leg. Once again, if you were in the seated option, this could be done standing as well. Returning to that tabletop pose here. And then other side. So left leg up and out to the side. And choose a direction to start making those circles in. And remember, right, they could be little circles. They could be big circles. Big circles are harder though, right? Like a lot more core engagement with big circles. And reverse when you're ready. Feeling that connection to the belly, building those muscles. Extend that leg straight back, curl the toes under, and give, like right? Feel free to sigh, moan, and groan in this space. Usually I like to say that before I start making weird noises, so apologize. Oh. That's the good stuff. I don't know why I'm much tighter on that side this week. That's okay. It's why we do this practice. Feeling the body, staying aware and compassionate to the self. Returning to that tabletop pose once again here. Bringing the left hand right in front of the face here, and then inhale, open up to the sky. So if you're in a seat, you could do like a forward fold and lift that right hand towards the sky. Into another twist here. Exhale. Go as though you're going to thread the needle here, but don't stay. Inhale, lift back up to the sky. 2 more times. Called a pseudo thread the needle. Into the sky. And then exhale, this time fully surrender. Thread that needle. You may need to move that left hand over a little bit. Bring that right shoulder to the earth. Right side of the face to the mat. This can be a really nice place to also just have a block if that it's just so far, right? Like, it's cool. Bring the earth to you. It's always an option. Breathing deep here. Acknowledging that the more you relax into these poses, the more gifts you will receive from them. Inhale, slide that hand back under the shoulder, returning to that tabletop pose, and then right hand to the middle. And I should say, you don't actually have to put your right hand like more in the middle of the mat. That just makes it easier to maintain balance. So, invitation, you can if you'd like to, but just so you know why we're doing that. Inhale, lift that left hand up to the sky. All right, nice big deep breath in, and then exhale, slide that hand under. Little wiggle, hey. Inhale, back up to the sky. Exhale, slide it under. Inhale, up to the sky. Exhale, slide it under and fully submit, surrender, sink, whatever you want to call it, whatever word resonates with you. With each exhale, give yourself permission to relax a little bit deeper. Doing a quick little body scan here. Are there places that you're holding tension that you can use the gift of that exhale to soften? Inhale to slide that hand under the shoulder, pressing back up to that tabletop pose one more time. And then coming in to a child's pose of your choice here. So I really like the knees close together and the feet close together. And I like to pretend I'm a seed. I don't know what that's about, but like I like always think of a little pumpkin seed, right? But if that's not your jam, you can just widen those knees to be the width of the mat and just melt right on down. Giving yourself the gift of this full surrender here. Acknowledging that you've come to the end of your warm-up. And we'll move into the next phase of our practice together. Inhale to bring the hands under the shoulders, pressing back up to a seated position and coming into eagle arms here. So you have the option to do this as you are seated, as you are, or in your seat, wherever you are. Or if you'd like to add a little something, something to this, you can curl those toes under. And then lifting up nice and straight through the crown. Head over heart, heart over pelvis. Shoulders relax and down the back body. Sorry, my son is sneaking by behind the computer and it is the most comical thing I've seen today. Inhale, open up the heart, the hands side to side. And then exhale, begin to crisscross the arms one over the other. When you get to the elbows, pause, bend those elbows so that the palms or the back of the hands can come to touch. This is considered to be wrapped one time, or you can wrap fully where the palms come to touch. And then lifting those hands up towards the sky. Pausing here for 3 breaths. Inhale, begin to unravel those arms, opening back up side to side. If you have the toes curled under and they're getting a little tender, just come forward onto the hands and uncurl those toes. Opening up side to side once again. This time, opposite arm comes on top, stopping at those elbows, pivoting. Back of the hand, or palm to palm. And then inhale, lift to the sky. 3 deep breaths here. Using that inhale to see if you can lift those hands a little bit more. And that exhale to see if you can relax the shoulders. Turning back to center, unraveling those arms, and then letting them promptly float all the way behind you. Interlace the fingers and same back bend like we had with those eagle arms, but opposite gesture, opening up that heart space, pulling those shoulders back and down. This can be a really nice place to have a strap here to hold. If those fingers don't necessarily want to like intermingle this evening. Breathing deep here. One more big breath in through the nose, committing to filling all four corners of the torso. And exhaling, releasing that breath, unclenching those hands, and then coming over onto the sides of the hips and allowing the feet to pivot in front of you. Soles of the feet flat on the earth here. Excuse me. Thank you. If you're in a chair, you can do this just by lifting the feet up while connecting to the core muscles. So whether you're on the earth or you're in a chair, lifting from the tip of the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. So a nice straight line all the way up the spine, shoulders relaxed and down the back body. And just to illustrate this, right, like this would be a nice flat back. This would be like that rounded spine. So it's like requires opening up those shoulders and letting them relax down the back body. And then bringing the hands to the backs of the legs here. And begin to take the weight up off your feet. Lift those tippy toes up. And begin to play with your sense of balance, your sense of gravity. This thing that keeps us connected to the earth at all times. It's just a super radical concept when you think about it. If you want, you can circle those ankles, finding a balancing pose here. And then settle in for 4 breaths, right? Like real core engagement, real energy here. But try to lean into it. Try to like work with it. Imagine that you're cultivating a relationship to the pose, to what it means to connect to that fire in the belly, to your own sense of power and energy. One more big breath here, and then exhale, melt it all down. Allow yourself to fold forward, wrap the arms around the knees, rest your head. Once again, the invitation here, do a little body scan, right? You've done more poses. Are there any places that you're holding tension? Any new awarenesses about the muscle groups of the body that you want to address in this space? Fully utilizing your time here now. Inhale to slowly rise back up to that nice flat back in that seated position. And we're going to hop right back into it. So having the hands on the back of the thighs will make this pose more gentle. And then even this, right? Even if just your tippy toes are on the earth, that is a balancing pose. But if your intention is to create a little bit more heat this evening, you take the hands off the thighs, extend the arms straight out, all while keeping that nice flat back. Little yoga smile, turn up the corners of the mouth here. And we're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. Land it all down. Once again, coming into that little love cave, that forward fold, tending to the body, acknowledging how amazing it is what you just did, and breathing deep. Inhale to slowly rise back up. This time, extending the legs straight forward, keeping those feet nice and active. It can be helpful to have like a little cushion or mat just to sit on the edge of right here. And what this does is it sort of just tilts the pelvis slightly forward, right? You can see I'm not really sitting on the mat or the blanket so much as the edge of the fold. So tilts the pelvis slightly forward, helps you lift through the crown of the head. It gives you that nice straight spine without needing to exert so much muscular energy in order to do so. It's just a nice little trick for you. Feet nice and active, lifting through the crown of the head. Shoulders relaxed and down the back body. Gaze forward. Inhale, lift the arms out side to side. And exhale, melt forward, but only as far as you can with a nice flat back. So for me, it's not super far. I can feel these, like the hamstrings, my muscles getting tight and tense when I do that. And then my breath starts to seize up. I lose that connection to the breath. So only go as far as you can while keeping that nice flat back, breathing deep. And then with the exhale, see, can you hinge forward from the hips, even just a centimeter more? Nice big breath in through the nose, and then exhale. Allow yourself to round forward, coming towards the toes. You may be able to reach the toes all the way or get to the ankles or the shins, but just allowing yourself to be an invitation here. If you are on the earth, bend the knees if you want to get all the way to the feet. There's no shame in this game. It's just you and your practice and your body, your time, and your mat. So if you're doing this in a seat, you could just do like a forward fold towards the feet, or you could go so far as to get another chair to prop your feet up on. Two more deep breaths here, seeing with each exhale. Can you make it a little farther? Do you want to make it a little farther? Inhale to slowly rise up to the crown of the head. And then bend that right leg and bring that sole of that right foot, press it into the thigh of the left foot. So similar, that left foot is staying as it is. All the same other prompts to lift through the crown while softening the shoulders. Inhale to lift and rise those hands up towards the sky. And then exhale, hinge forward from those hips. See how far you can make it with a nice flat back. For me, I can make it a little bit farther in the Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. My head's never made it to my knee. So just getting as far as you're able to. And rather than like maybe associating any judgment with how far you're able to make it forward today, let's live with this idea of instead noticing on where there's tension in the body and using the breath to release it, so that maybe as you're in the pose longer, you can make it a little bit farther. One more big breath in. Exhale, round the spine, come all the way forward as far as you're going to make it today. Now also, I gotta mention this for the other ones, but this can be a delightful place to have a strap as well. Inhale to slowly rise back up. And we'll come to the other side. So extending that right foot right out in front of you. Sole of the left foot presses into that right inner thigh. If you want to try it from the strap from the beginning, you can loop it around the foot and wrap it around the hands a few times here. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Crown of the head reaching towards the cosmos. And exhale, nice flat back to start. Hinging forward from the hips. Big deep breath in, and then exhale, round it all to come forward. Inhale to release that, coming back up to a comfortable seated position. This time bringing the soles of the feet to touch or to come close. If you're in a chair, you could even just do this where you bring the soles of the feet together, like on the ground or wherever they are, right? Coming into a cobbler's pose. Taking an opportunity here, if you're able to make it to the feet, to just give them a little rub, give them a little love, a little something, something, some of that self-care. If you're doing this in a chair with somebody else, maybe you can get a foot up onto the other chair and the person you're with can rub your feet for you. This is just like an in general good for you life tip to massage your feet every day. Getting all those nerve endings that live there so that, you know, when you're massaging your feet, you're also massaging and tending to the other parts of your body that these nerve endings are connected to. It's a double win, double rainbow. Wasn't that like a thing? Double rainbow. I don't know. Bacon all day for Thanksgiving. It's making my brain a little mushy. I apologize. Make sure you're massaging the backs of those feet. You know, if I find a tender spot, I sometimes like to like Google it afterwards. Like I'll look at like a reflexology chart for the feet to see like what that thing is associated with, see where that tension was laying in my body. You know, if you're like a yogi holistic nerd like me, maybe that's your thing too. Maybe not. That's cool. Great. And then we're going to come into a seated twist. So if you're in a chair, then you know what to do. If you're not, and you're on the earth, so you can wrap one leg closer to be around the body, and then the other foot, that knee stays bent. Hug that bent knee with the opposite arm. And then swimming that other hand back behind you, pressing into the earth like a kickstand, helping you rise to your highest potential. And then exhale, turn to look out past your back shoulder. Going to stay here for 4 breaths. So I want you to use that inhale to lift and lengthen through that crown. And that exhale to see if you can twist just a little bit further. Always striving to find the edge where you can feel a pose everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Where numerous muscle groups are working to support that posture. And where you are still having a vivacious connection to that breath in and out of the nose. Inhale to return to center and swap the legs here. So that other leg is now wrapped down and on the earth. And that opposite foot now has that bent knee and is pressing firmly into the earth. Opposite arm comes to hug that bent knee. And then that last hand floats all the way back and behind, giving you that support so that you can use your next exhale to twist and look out past that back shoulder. Being here, allowing yourself this sensation for 4 breath cycles. Inhale to return to center, unravel those legs, and begin to make your way down towards the earth. Back flat, legs extended straight out. And full disclosure, we're making our way towards our Shavasana here. So end of the practice. Feeling the support of the earth, right? We spent all this time lifting and rising through the crown, but now you can relax that part of your practice as the earth supports it for you. Inhale, hug that right knee in towards the chest. Once again, knowing that there's always the option of a strap here, that you could just wrap it, right? Even if your hands can't clasp around that knee, you have that option to fully explore the pose in your body. Rock that knee side to side. And when you're ready, switching sides here. Hugging that knee into chest. Now, both knees into chest. Hugging them tight. We're using that strap to hug them as close as they're able to go, rocking side to side if that feels nurturing and nourishing for you. And taking the opportunity to ask the body, what is it that would feel delightful right now? Maybe there's something that we haven't done today, a body part we haven't addressed yet. Maybe it's simple as some knee circles, but take this opportunity to just listen, to just be with the body in all of its wisdom and glory, and let it guide you. Let it be your yoga teacher. One more minute here to listen to the body. To let it offer you what I cannot, your own wisdom. And wherever you are, beginning to set yourself up for Shavasana. So that might mean adding another layer as your body begins to cool down quickly. or placing a blanket underneath the back just for another bit of cushion, more than the mat can provide. Any last stretches before your body is ready to fully surrender to your Shavasana. Letting those feet relax, those hands relax. And once again, starting at the top of the head and using each exhale to go a little bit farther down the body, checking in, really listening to those spots that may have been speaking to you before. And how do they feel now? And as you're working your way through your body, listening, is there any gratitude living in you for having done this practice? Listening to all the things that have to be shared with you. And when you're all done with this practice of self-awareness, give yourself permission to fully surrender to your Shavasana. Option here to continue as you are in your Shavasana, or try rolling on to the right side, using the right arm as a pillow for the head, coming into the fetal position and allowing even the organs of the body to come into full alignment with the closing of your practice. And as you're ready, with no rush, no other place to be but to fully experience the gifts of your practice, gently make your way to a comfortable seated position. Inhaling to bring the hands to heart center, or to place one hand over the other on the heart. Closing our practice with one Om. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose. My wish for you on this day, every day that follows, is peace of body, peace of heart, and peace of mind. Namaste.